Hi, how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. Um, I am doing John 8 today. The Adulteress Forgiven, starting at verse 2. It goes down to 11. And so we're doing like one parable or one story at a time. And as you know, John is Gnostic. And so it has what you would call hidden knowledge. Okay, that's what the Jerusalem church was all about. They were Gnostic, they were highly discriminated against. And and so they felt that they had to have special knowledge or hidden knowledge to kind of top the other churches. And we see groups like that today. You know, check out the Pentecostals, visit their churches, then check out the church that's similar to them, but not so Gnostic like the Baptists, and then the United Methodists. That gets calmer and calmer. But you know, the epitome of Gnosticism today is I believe the Pentecostal movement. Um, I got involved with that when I was a kid. Belonged to the Jesus people, then the Jews for Jesus, and I kind of blend in everywhere. Right now, I'm involved with the Black community, and yeah, I do blend in with them. I get along with everybody. All you have to do is smile. Hi, how you doing? You know, and they just love seeing friendliness and people that care about them. Um, and so, anyway, we will start here with verse 2. Um, at dawn, he went to the temple again. All the people were coming to him. He sat down and began to teach to them. Then the scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman caught in adultery, making her stand in the center. Teacher, they said to him, this woman was caught in the act of committing adultery. I would imagine that means they would rush into her house and grab her. It's really inappropriate. In the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. So what do you say? They asked, to trap him in order that they might have evidence to accuse him. Jesus stooped down and started writing on the ground with his finger, and they persisted in questioning him. He stood up and said to them, the one without sin amongst you should be the first to throw the first stone at her. Then he stooped down again and continued writing in this ground. And when they heard this, they left one by one, starting with the older men. Only he was left with the woman at the center. When Jesus stood up, he said to her, woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you? No one, Lord, she answered. Neither do I condemn you, he said Jesus. Go, and from now on, do not sin anymore. Okay. They used to have this barbaric thing that they used to do years ago in this culture. If someone was caught doing some sin or something they didn't care for, they called it sin, they would stone them to death. They would put them in the center of a low part in the land, or you know, a center of a field, and they would throw stones at them until they were dead. Isn't that barbaric? They didn't have weapons, they had stones. This is like the Stone Age. And then to actually, and that was, who did this was the scribes and the Pharisees. They brought her to him. What, to be stoned? Oh my gosh. You know, this is not fitting for priests and clergy people to be stoning people in some sort of a judgment. This is really, really despicable of them to do this in the first place, and to try to incite kind of a mob riot where they would be killing some some woman, you know, and it's very sexist also. You have to think about that. It's very prejudiced against women, and how women years ago used to, if they were single and their husbands were dead, a lot of them became prostitutes just to support themselves, you know, just to support themselves. And then they also had this attitude back then that if you remarried, that you were still, you know, a prostitute or committing adultery by remarrying. And, you know, the scriptures do hint towards that. But today, we don't frown on remarriage. We don't frown on marriage, okay? We don't frown on marriage. And so if someone wants to get remarried and they've been divorced or widowed, we don't have a problem with that. Um, and there are still clergy that have a problem with same sex marriages. There are still some with that. Um, it's unusual, but we're supposed to be accepting, those of us in the church, accepting and loving and ecumenical. And then you get into the sticky situation of like, we're supposed to be accepting that we have this unusual couple. And so you try to be accepting, okay? We don't know what to do with it, really. But anyway, here we have this woman who's been apparently caught in an act of adultery. Like, how snoopy are these priests to go rushing into her house and pulling her out? That's really snoopy. I just, what are they spying on her? It kind of makes you wonder about people, really. They had small, tight knit little communities back then, but apparently they did not need a telephone or radar, or they knew what was going on in their community. So anyway, I would like to hear your opinions about this. We do have people like this in our communities today that we kind of wonder about, ones that float from relationship to relationship, and you're like, it's like they're trying on marriages, this marriage, that marriage, this marriage. It's like trying on shoes or something, and so anyway, I would like to see what you think about this. And this is kind of a Bible study, and this is what was requested, that we would do a Bible study daily and read a little passage out of the New Testament daily, starting with the book of John. And so, and a lot of people like this sort of thing. And tomorrow we'll start with the light of the world, verse 12. So, anyway, I have something for you to pray about. We are still in remodeling our garden, meditation garden. If you could see that from here, you could see that, can't you? We have a problem with this neighbor who has decided that this road is his. So he actually had the city close it down. Unreal, right? But we still need to continue on with our parking lot. This is a road going up the hill. No one uses it because it's too steep. It's really too steep. It's dangerous. And so no one uses it. It's scary. So they park way, way back here, and then they kind of walk on over. And the guy he doesn't live in the house. He owns the house that he works on now and then over here. And if he sees people walk through here, he complains to the cops, and we're trying to get him to stop doing that. So we're putting up a food box. All of his neighbors would be walking over his little corner then, because it's food. Of course they will. Think about it. And then this is a path of the settlers This is a Black History area. The NAACP is helping us out with this road situation. And we will put the names of the settlers, the original 12 settlers in Goose Hollow, on these blocks of stone. And then we're kind of working on how to do this. We just have a circle of gravel here, like pea gravel. And then there's water that rushes down the hill, wants to wash it away. So we put rocks around it. I'm thinking about putting a mound here, like a Native American mound. It makes like a natural little stage, you know? Would be a good idea. We're working on a really big cross. There is a cross down there. There is a cross. The neighbor built it. But we want one that's like 20 foot with spotlights on it that could be seen from the highway. And of course, this is the shape. It's in a kind of a wooded area. It's boxed in. I'll be throwing some wild seed with seed bombs. Seed bombs. You know, we make them out of clay. I put seed in clay and throw them up here on the hillside. They will sprout. They will sprout all by themselves with the heavy rains we get in the spring. We have to watch with the heavy rains, though, because this road turns into a